Hi everyone, welcome to Go Classes. In this lecture, we will do a lot of practice of closure properties. In the previous lectures, we have seen the closure property concept. These lectures you can find on the YouTube, on the Go Classes YouTube channel. You can see closure properties of languages part 1. In this part 1, we have seen the closure properties of regular languages, closure properties of CFLs, DCFLs. Okay, so this lecture you can find on the YouTube. You can search Go Classes Closure. Okay, or the link I will provide you in the pinned comment, also in the description. You can check it out. You can see this is part 2. Okay, the closure properties of recursively enumerable languages and also the closure properties of recursive languages. Okay, so this lecture also you can find on the YouTube. Okay, now let's start. Now we are going to do a lot of practice of closure properties. Let's solve this question about closure properties of context free languages. So the statement 1, if L2 is regular and L1 intersection L2 is regular, then can you guarantee that L1 will be CFL? Let's see statement A. Statement A is saying that L2 is regular and L1 intersection L2 is regular. So these things are given. Okay, these things are given that L1 intersection L2 regular, this is regular, and L2 is regular. Okay, so these are given. If L2 is regular and L1 intersection L2 is regular, then can we guarantee that L1 will be CFL? Is there any guarantee? Then can you say that L1 will be CFL? The answer is not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. This is not necessary that L1 will be CFL. Okay, can you give me example? Can you give me a situation where L1 is not CFL and L2 is regular and L1 intersection L2 is regular? Very easily you can consider this L2 equal to phi. Okay, so this is a regular language, correct? Okay, now here what you do, you consider this L1 equal to any non-CFL language. What you can do, you can take any non-CFL language. Okay, just take any non-CFL language. For example, you can take L1 equal to a power n, b power n, c power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so you can see this L1, this is a non-CFL. Okay, this L1, this is not CFL. Now you can easily see L2 is regular and this is the language L1, this is not CFL. And what is L1 intersection L2? L1 intersection L2, phi intersection L1, that will be phi and that is regular. So you can easily see that all the conditions are satisfied here. L2 is regular, this is the regular language, and you can see L1 intersection L2 is also regular, but you can see L1 is not CFL. Okay, so remember here I can say that, can you guarantee that L1 will be CFL? The answer is no. Okay, not necessarily. Okay, so I can say that may or may not be. This L1 may or may not be CFL. It may be CFL or it may not be CFL. So I can say may or may not be CFL. Okay, is this clear? So you can say that this statement, the first statement is actually false. Okay, I can say this first statement is false because in the first statement, remember, this L1 may or may not be CFL. Okay, what about the statement L2? What about the statement B? This is saying L1 is CFL, L2 is regular. What about L1 minus L2? L1 CFL, L2 regular. Okay, so this is the statement B. In the option B, we are saying that L1 CFL, L2 regular. And the question is asking about L1 minus L2. Okay, remember this symbol. This is the symbol for set difference. So you can say the question is asking you about L1 minus L2. Okay, you can see L1 CFL, L2 regular. And what about L1 minus L2? So here, remember one thing, that this is the symbol for difference. Okay, this is your set difference. So I can say the question is talking about L1 minus L2. What can you say? Can you guarantee L1 minus L2 will be context free? Can you guarantee this? Let's check. See, you can see that L1 minus L2, I can write it L1 intersection L2 complement. Yes or no? Okay, this point you already know that if you have any set S comma T, then what is S minus T? What is S minus T? That will be S intersection T complement. Correct. So what will be L1 minus L2? That will be L1 intersection L2 complement. Now here, L2 is regular, so its complement also will be regular. Okay, its complement also will be regular. Regular languages are closed under complement operation. So you can see this L2 complement, this also will be regular, and this L1, this is already given to you as CFL. What will be CFL intersection regular? CFL intersection regular, that is CFL. Yes or no? We already know that CFLs are closed under intersection with regular language. Remember, CFL intersection CFL may not be CFL. Okay, remember here that two things. First, CFL intersection CFL. If I do CFL intersection CFL, then this may or may not be CFL. Okay, then this may or may not be CFL. This may be CFL. This may not be CFL. If I do the CFL intersection CFL, this may or may not be CFL. But remember, if I do regular language intersection with CFL, then this will always be CFL. Okay, so I can say CFLs are closed under intersection with regular language. CFLs are not closed under intersection operation, but CFLs are closed under intersection with regular languages. Okay, so this is the point. So you can easily see that here CFL intersection regular, that will be CFL. So statement B is actually true. Okay, I can say that yes, this will definitely be CFL. Okay, so I can say that statement B, that is actually true. What about statement C? It is saying if the concatenation of L1 L2 is context free, then both will be context free. Is it true? Option C, statement C. Tell me about the statement C. We are saying that L1 dot L2, this is CFL. This is given to you. Okay, this thing is given. Now, from this, can I guarantee that L1 L2 both will be CFL? Both will be CFL. Tell me, can you guarantee that both will be CFL? The answer is no. Okay, the answer is no. You cannot guarantee that both will be CFL. Okay, both may be CFL, both may be CFL, but you cannot guarantee that both will be CFL. You can consider this example. Okay, take L1 equal to 5. Is this CFL? Yes, this is CFL. Okay, yes or no? And you take L2 equal to A power n, B power n, C power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. Is this language CFL? No, this language is not CFL. Yes or no? This is non-CFL. Now you tell me what is their concatenation? What is their concatenation? So you can see L1 is 5. This is CFL. L2 is non-CFL. What about their concatenation? L1 dot L2. You know that 5 dot L2, that will be 5. Okay, and that is CFL. That is CFL. So you can easily see that L1 dot L2 is CFL. Here, notice L1 dot L2 is CFL actually, but L2 is not CFL. Okay, is this clear? So remember, if L1 dot L2 is CFL, can you guarantee that both will be CFL? The answer is no. Okay, actually, is it possible both can be non-CFL? Tell me, is it possible that both can be non-CFL? Is it possible that both L1 comma L2 both can be non-CFL? Yes, that is also possible. Okay, let me give you example. Consider this L1 equal to A power prime. Okay, see this L1 you consider like this: epsilon comma A union A power prime. Union A power prime. What is this A power prime? This is not CFL. Yes or no? So your language L1 is this A power prime union these two strings. So in the A power prime, in this language, I am adding these two strings epsilon comma A. Okay, overall you can easily see that this language L1, this is non-CFL. Okay, what about L2? Okay, let me consider L2 equal to epsilon union A power composite. A power composite. Okay, so what is this language L2? This language L2 is also not CFL. Okay, both L1 comma L2 are actually context sensitive. So both L1 comma L2 are CSL, but they are not CFL. Okay, A power prime, this is not CFL. A power composite, this is not CFL. So your language L1 is A power prime, but in this we are adding two more strings. Okay, and your language L2 is A power composite union empty string. Now you tell me what is L1 dot L2? In this situation, what will be L1 dot L2? Tell me. L1 dot L2, that will be A star. You can check it out. If you do the concatenation L1 dot L2, then that will be A star, and this is CFL. A star is CFL. A star is regular. Every regular language is CFL. So you can see here, you can see L1 dot L2 is CFL. So notice L1 dot L2 is CFL, but you can notice both L1 comma L2 are non-CFL. Okay, is this point clear? You can easily see L1 dot L2 will be CFL. Okay, because remember what is our L1? Our L1 is epsilon comma A power prime. A power prime means A power 2, A power 3, a power 5, a power 7, okay, a power 11, and so on. So this is your L1. And what is L2? L2 is epsilon comma a power composite. A power composite means a power 4, a power 6, a power 8, a power 9, a power 10, and so on. Okay, now you tell me what is their concatenation. If I do L1 dot L2, what I will get? What I'm going to get? You can see in this L1 dot L2, I will get epsilon. If I do the concatenation of epsilon with epsilon, I will get a power 1 also. Because if I do the concatenation of a with epsilon, I will get a power 1 also. I will get a power 2 also. If I do the concatenation of a power 2 with epsilon, okay, I will get a power 3 also. This a power 3 concatenate with this epsilon. I will get a power 4 also if I do the concatenation of epsilon with a power 4. Okay, so this will give me a power 4 because I am finding L1 dot L2. So if you do the concatenation of epsilon with a power 4, I will get a power 4 also. Similarly, you will get a power 5, a power 6, and so on. Basically, all the strings you will get. How you will get a power 6? Very simple. If you do the concatenation of epsilon with a power 6. Okay, so this will give you a power 6 and so on. So you are basically getting a star. Okay, and what this a star? This is regular, and every regular language is CFL. So this is what I'm saying, that in this example, here you can notice L1 is non-CFL, L2 is non-CFL, but their concatenation is CFL. So you can see L1 dot L2 is CFL, but L1 comma L2 both are non-CFL. Okay, so I hope you understood. So remember in the option C, if L1 dot L2, if they are CFL, then what I can say? What will be the correct statement? What is going to be the correct statement? If L1 dot L2 is CFL, then remember there are all the possibilities. Okay, there are all the possibility, all these are possible. If L1 dot L2 is CFL, okay, the concatenation of two languages CFL, then remember all these possibilities are there, that both L1 comma L2 can be non CFL. This is possible, both L1 comma L2 non CFL. Okay, this is also possible, both CFL, that is also possible, both L1 L2 CFL, this is also possible. Okay, one of them CFL, another non CFL, this is also possible. L1 CFL, L2 non CFL, this is also possible. And remember, L1 non CFL and L2 CFL, this is also possible. So this is what I'm saying, that if the concatenation of two languages is CFL, then all these possibilities are there. Maybe both are non CFL, maybe both are CFL, maybe one of them is CFL, another is non CFL, and so on. So all these possibilities are there. Okay, is this clear? So you can see this third statement. This third statement is actually false. Okay. What about the fourth statement? It is saying if L1 is context free and L2 is subset of L1, then L2 is context free. See, L1 is context free, then can I say subset of context free will be context free? This statement is also false. Okay, what is option D? Option D is saying that this L1 is CFL. Okay, this is given to you that L1 is CFL and L2 is subset of L1. The question is saying that there is L2 which is subset of L1. Now, what can you say about this L2? Remember, context-free languages, they are not closed under subset operation. What it means? It means that if you take subset of CFL, then it may or may not be CFL. Okay, yes or no? So remember, if you take the subset of CFL, then remember here this L2, this may or may not be CFL. This may or may not be CFL. It may be CFL, it may not be CFL. Let me give you two examples. Okay, one example where L2 is non-CFL and another example where L2 is CFL. Okay, so you consider L1 equal to sigma star. Is this a CFL language? Let me know. Yes, this is a regular language. Every regular language is CFL. So yes, this is a CFL language. Now what you do? This is CFL and you consider A power n, B power n, C power n. A power n, B power n, C power n, where n is greater than equal to 0, you consider this language. You can say this language is non-CFL. Yes or no? This language is not context free. And you can say this is actually subset of sigma star. This language is subset of sigma star where sigma star is CFL. Okay, so you can easily see that subset of CFL may be non-CFL. Yes or no? Okay, this is what I'm saying, that if L1 is CFL, then subset of CFL may or may not be CFL. Here you can notice sigma star is CFL, but subset of CFL is a non-CFL. I can give you another situation where subset of CFL will be CFL. For example, you what to do? You consider L1 equal to the sigma star, again you can consider, or maybe you can consider A star, B star. Okay, this language is what? This language is CFL. Okay, Now you consider its subset, that is a power n, b power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. Okay, you can see this language is also CFL. And you can easily see that L2 is subset of L1. Yes or no? You can see L2 is subset of L1, where L1 is also CFL and where L2 is also CFL. Okay. So remember, subset of CFL may or may not be CFL. Is this point clear? So finally, I can say in this question, the statement fourth, that is also false, because this is saying if L1 is CFL and L2 is subset of L1, then L2 will be CFL. This statement is false. Here, L2 may or may not be CFL. Okay. So option D is actually false. So finally, for this question, what will be the answer? You can see this statement is also false and this statement is also false. So the only true statement is option B. This is the only true statement. Okay. So very simple. So I hope you understood this closure property question. A very interesting question. Four options we have seen. The complete analysis we have done. Okay, now let's move on. Let's solve this question based on closure properties. The union of two non-regular DCFLs can possibly be. The question is asking which of them is possible. Mark all that are possible. Okay, question is talking about the union of two non-regular DCFLs. Means you have two DCFL languages which are non-regular. What can you say about their union? Is it possible that union of two non-regular DCFLs can be regular? Is it possible it can be non-regular DCFL? Is it possible it can be CFL but not DCFL? And is it possible it can be non-CFL? So tell me which of them are possible? The question is talking about the possibility. Okay, so let's see one by one. First of all, what is given to you? It is given to you that there are two non-regular DCFLs. Okay, you have two non-regular DCFL. You can see the union of two non-regular DCFLs. Okay, so for a moment, let me assume the union of two non-regular DCFLs. Let me call it L union M. Okay, where what is L? L also must be non-regular DCFL. M also must be non-regular DCFL. Okay, so remember this must be non-regular but DCFL. Non-regular DCFL. And what this L is, this is also non-regular DCFL. This also should be non-regular DCFL. Okay. So what can you say about L1 union L union M? Okay, so let's discuss this. So here you can see L union M. This is what we want to check, where L is L comma M both are non-regular DCFLs. Okay, both are non-regular but DCFL. Okay, so this type of languages we have. Okay, let's see. Is it possible their union can be regular? Is it possible? Let me know. So yes, this is possible. Okay, so remember, first of all, let me tell you, L union M is possible to be regular. Okay, it is definitely, it is possible that it is possible to be regular. Okay, can you give me a situation where the union of two non-regular DCFLs is becoming a regular language? Yes, I can easily give you. Consider this language L, that is a power m, a power n, b power n, or I can say a power m, b power n, where m equal to n. Okay, consider this language, and you consider this language where you have a power m, b power n, a power m, b power n, where m is not equal to n. Now you can easily notice that both these languages are non-regular DCFLs. Yes or no? You can see this language is non-regular because a power m, b power n, where m comma n are same. Okay, so this language is also non-regular and this language is also non-regular. Both are non-regular but both are DCFL. Okay, so you can see both are non-regular but both are DCFL. Okay, now L comma M. Now you tell me what their union will be. What will be their union? L union M. That will be A star B star. Yes or no? That will be A star B star. Because remember, here you have number of A's followed by number of B's, where number of A equal to number of B. Here you have number of A's followed by number of B's, where number of A is not equal to number of B's. So if you take their union, you will get A star B star. Remember, you will not get sigma star. You are not going to get sigma star. Okay, they are not complement of each other. Please notice here. Because remember, in these two languages, we don't have string B, A, B. Yes or no? After B, A cannot come. So here remember L comma M, they are not complement of each other. Don't make this mistake. Some students are thinking that L comma M, they are complement of each other. No, they are not complement of each other. Okay, if you see, if this is your language L, that is A power N, B power N, where N greater than equal to 0, then what will be its complement? Remember, its complement will be its complement will be a power m, b power n, where they are not equal, union, union those strings which contain ba. W contains ba. So W contains ba. W contains BA means after B A cannot come. A can come. After B A can come. So you can see if this is your language L, then the L complement actually will be this. Okay, so you can easily see that if I write this language M equal to A power M, B power N, where M is not equal to N, if I write this language, then remember you cannot say that L complement is equal to M. This statement will be false. Okay, this statement is wrong. Okay. Anyway, so let's come back to this question. So you can see here I have taken two languages L comma M where both are non-regular DCFLs, and if you take their union, you will get A star B star. And what is this A star B star? This is regular. So you can see that union of two non-regular DCFLs, it is possible that it can become regular. Okay, yes or no? So remember, the question is asking which of them is possible. So definitely regular is possible. Okay, and let's see what about option B. Option B is saying, is it possible that union of two non-regular DCFL can be non-regular DCFL? Okay, so let's see the option B also. Option B is saying that L union M, is it possible it can be non-regular DCFL? Is it possible that L union M can be non-regular DCFL? Yes, this is also possible. Yes, this is also possible. Actually, you can take same L comma M. Okay, basically you take any, what you can do, notice you take any non-regular DCFL. Okay, take any non-regular DCFL L. Any non-regular DCFL you take L, and then what you do? You take M equal to L. You take M equal to L. Then what will happen? You can easily see what will be L union M. That will be same as L. Okay, you can easily see, and this is a non-regular DCFL, and this is non-regular DCFL. Okay, is this clear? So this is what you can do. You can easily see, take any non-regular DCFL. Okay, so this L is basically non-regular DCFL, and you take M equal to L. So you can see the union of two non-regular DCFLs that is becoming non-regular DCFL. So this is definitely possible. I can give you another example. Consider this example that consider L equal to A power N, B power N. Okay, consider this N greater than equal to 0. And consider this language M, that is A power N, B power N plus 1, N greater than equal to 0. Okay, so you can easily see these two languages, they are non-regular DCFL. They are non-regular, both are basically non-regular DCFL. This is also non-regular DCFL, and that is this is also non-regular DCFL. Okay, what about their union? What can you say about their union? A power n, B power n, union A power n, B power n plus 1. The union is also non-regular DCFL. Okay, if you consider their union, what you will get? You will get L union M. If you see their union, that also will be non-regular but DCFL. Okay, so definitely I can say that if you have two non-regular DCFL, their union can be non-regular DCFL. This is definitely possible. Okay, so I can say option B is also possible. What about option C? The union of two non-regular DCFL, is it possible it can become CFL but not DCFL? Is it possible that the union of two non-regular DCFLs can become CFL but not DCFL? Yes, this is also possible. Okay, option C, that is also possible. L union M, this becomes CFL but not DCFL, but not DCFL. Yes, this is also possible. Can you give me example how this is possible? This is also possible. Here what you can do, you can take L equal to A power n, B power n. Okay, consider this A power n, B power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. Consider this language L, and you consider this language M, that is A power n, B power 2n. Okay, so now you consider this. Now here you can see that in the language L, I have A power n, B power n. Means for every A, there is one B. Okay, in the language M, I have A power n, B power 2n. Means for every A, there are two B. Okay, so here you can see this is also non-regular DCFL, because the question is saying that L comma M are non-regular DCFL. You can see this is also non-regular DCFL. This is also non-regular DCFL. What about their union? What about their union? If I do their union, L union M, then what I will get? A power n union A power n. See, A power n, B power n, union A power n, B power 2n. If you do the union, that will not be DCFL. Yes or no? So if you do their union, it will be CFL, but it will not be DCFL. Okay, you know this, that A power n, B power n, union A power n, B power 2n. Okay, this language, the union of these two languages, that is not DCFL, but that is CFL, because PD has non-determinism. Okay, so the union of these two languages, that is CFL, but the union of these two languages is not DCFL. So you can see that L union M can be CFL but not DCFL. So definitely this is also possible. Okay, so remember this option C, that is also possible. The question is talking about possibility. Yes, option C is also possible. What about option D? Tell me, what about option D? Is it possible or not? Is it possible that the union of two non-regular DCFLs can become non-CFL? Non-CFL. This is never possible. This is never possible. What is the reason? What is the reason? The reason is very simple. See, you are taking union of two non-regular DCFLs. Every DCFL is CFL. Yes or no? Okay, we know that every DCFL is CFL. So this you know, every DCFL is a CFL. So and CFL's union, if you do the union of two CFL, that will always be CFL. So you can easily see that this non-regular DCFL, this is also CFL. Okay, you can see L, this is also CFL. Okay, union M, this is also CFL, and the union of two CFLs, that will always be CFL. CFL union CFL, that is always CFL. So you can see that answer can never be non-CFL. Okay, this is not possible. Is this clear? All the remaining are possible. Is this point clear? Please tell me. Because the question is saying union of two non-regular DCFLs. Remember, every DCFL is CFL. Okay, so these two languages are CFL. We are doing union of two CFL. Okay, so CFL union CFL, that is CFL because the context free languages are closed under union operation. The union of two CFL is always CFL. So you can easily see that the union of two DCFL can never be non-CFL. It is never possible that your result will be non-CFL. Okay. So for this question, what is the answer? The answer will be A, B, C. This is a MCQ question. Okay. So you can see multiple select question. So multiple options can be correct. The answer will be A, B, C. These are possible. Okay. I hope you understood this. Let's solve this closure property question. Which of the following statement is or are false? The intersection of CFL and DCFL, that is always CFL. Is this statement true? Please tell me. Can I say the intersection of CFL, DCFL, that is always CFL? Let's see the statement number one. Statement number one is saying that if you have CFL intersection DCFL, then result will always be CFL. Tell me, is this statement true? This statement is actually false. Can you give me counter example? Can you give me a CFL and DCFL such that their intersection is not CFL? Yes, I can easily give you counter example. Consider this language L, that is A power M, A power N, B power N, C power M, where N comma M both are greater than equal to 0. Okay, consider this language L. And you also consider this language M, that is A power M, B power N, C power N, where M comma N both are greater than equal to 0. Okay, you can easily see that both are CFL, both are DCFL. Okay, you can see that here the language L, that is CFL, that is DCFL also, because we are doing A power N, B power N, and number of C does not matter. Okay, so you can see this language L, this is CFL. Okay, of course this is DCFL also. Okay, but the point is we only care about CFL. And you can see this language M, this is DCFL. Of course this is CFL also. Okay, so you can see that language L is CFL, language M is DCFL. What is their intersection? What is their intersection? Remember, L is CFL, L is CFL, and what is M? M is DCFL. Okay, so you can easily see actually both are DCFL, both are CFL. Okay, but the question is talking about CFL intersection DCFL. So I am saying that L is CFL, that is correct. This language is CFL. Okay, this language is CFL, and this language is DCFL, that is also correct. So you can see What will be their intersection? You can see in the language L, the number of B equal to number of A. In the language M, the number of B equal to number of C. So what will be the common strings? The common strings will be A power n, B power n, C power n. These will be the common strings, n greater than equal to 0. And what this? This language is popular non-CSL, non-CFL. This language is not context free. So you can see that CFL intersection DCFL may be non-CFL. Is this point clear? Okay, please tell me. So you can easily see the intersection of CFL and DCFL is always CFL. This statement is actually false. Question is asking false statement, so option A is correct. Okay, understood? So what you can say about CFL intersection DCFL? Tell me what you can guarantee about CFL intersection DCFL. If you have CFL intersection DCFL, tell me what you can say. I can say that the result may or may not be CFL. Yes or no? For CFL intersection DCFL, I can say the result may or may not be CFL. May or may not be CFL. Remember, it may be CFL. Okay, it may be CFL. For example, consider A power n, B power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. Okay, you can easily see this language is CFL. This language is CFL, and what you do intersection with A power n, B power 2n. Okay, where n is greater than equal to 0. So this language is DCFL. Okay, actually both are DCFL, both are CFL. The point is that this is CFL, this is intersection with DCFL. Tell me what the result will be. What will be the result? The result will be set containing empty string only. Yes or no? And you can see this. This is CFL. Every regular language is CFL. Okay, so you can see this is CFL. I hope you understood. So remember, CFL intersection DCFL. CFL intersection DCFL, I can say it may or may not be CFL. It may be CFL, it may not be CFL. Okay. Your option A is saying that intersection of CFL and DCFL is always CFL. This statement is false. Actually, it may or may not be CFL. Okay, understood? But one thing I can guarantee. What is that? See, I can guarantee that this will always be CSL. This CSL I can always guarantee. Yes or no? Why? What is the reason? CFL intersection DCFL. This will always be CSL. This I can guarantee. Okay. But remember, this intersection is CFL or not, that will depend on the actual languages. Okay, I told you that CFL intersection DCFL, this may or may not be CFL. That will actually depend on the languages. Which languages you are taking, it will depend on that. Okay, the intersection of CFL and DCFL, maybe that is regular, maybe that is DCFL, maybe that is CFL. Okay, so you can see if I take intersection of CFL DCFL, the result may or may not be CFL, but there is a guarantee that if I take intersection of CFL DCFL, the result will always be CSL. There is a guarantee. What is the reason? The proof is very simple, because every CFL is CSL. Okay, every CFL is CSL. Intersection DCFL, every DCFL is also CSL. Okay, and you know that CSL languages are closed under intersection operation. If you do the intersection of CSL languages, then that always will be CSL. Context sensitive languages are closed under intersection operation. So you can see that the intersection of CFL DCFL will always be CSL. This is guaranteed. Okay, but we cannot guarantee CFL. The intersection of CFL DCFL may be CFL, may not be CFL, may be regular, may not be regular, may be DCFL, may not be DCFL. So we cannot guarantee anything, but we can guarantee that it will always be CSL. Okay, let's see the next statement. The union of two regular languages is always DCFL. This statement is true, because union of two regular languages is always regular, and every regular language is DCFL. Yes or no? So option B is saying the union of two regular languages is always DCFL. Okay, see, if I do the union of two regular languages, what you can say? This will always be regular. This we already know. Regular union regular, that will always be regular. And remember, every regular language is a DCFL. Okay, so finally I can say union of two regular languages is always DCFL. So this statement is true. The question is asking for false statement, so this is not false. Okay, what about the next statement? For every non-deterministic PDA, there is a deterministic PDA. Is it correct? Can I say for every non-deterministic pushdown automata, can I say there is a deterministic pushdown automata? This statement is false, because remember, non-deterministic pushdown automata has more power than deterministic pushdown automata. Okay, you know that there are CFL which are not DCFL. There are languages which you can recognize using non-deterministic PDA, but you cannot recognize using deterministic PDA. So remember, non-deterministic push-down automata (NPDA) that is more powerful than DPDA. Okay, so we are saying for every NPDA there is DPDA. This statement is false. What about the last statement? The intersection of two non-regular languages is always non-regular. If I take the intersection of two non-regular languages, that will always be non-regular. This statement is false. The intersection of two non-regular languages may be regular, may be non-regular. Yes or no? I can easily give you the example. So in the option D is saying that if I do non-regular intersection non-regular, then that will always be non-regular. The intersection of two non-regular languages is always non-regular. This statement is actually false. Okay, actually the correct statement is non-regular intersection non-regular. This may be regular, this may be non-regular. Okay, this may be regular or maybe non-regular, or maybe non-regular. Okay, can you give me example? Give me two non-regular languages such that their intersection is regular. Also give me two non-regular languages whose intersection is non-regular. You can easily give me. See, consider this language L, a power n, b power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. You can easily see this language is non-regular. Okay, and you consider another language M, that is a power m, b power n, where m is not equal to n. This language is also non-regular. Yes or no? So both of these languages are non-regular. What is their intersection? Can you tell me? These are non-regular languages. You tell me their intersection. L intersection M, where L is also non-regular, M is also non-regular. What about their intersection? Their intersection will be phi. That is empty. There is no common string. Yes or no? Here you have a power n, b power n. Here you have a power m, b power n, where m is not equal to n. So the intersection will be phi. There is nothing common. And what is this phi? This is a regular. So you can see that non-regular intersection non-regular, that may be regular. Okay, or that may be non-regular. Okay, I can give you another situation where, another example I can give you where non-regular intersection non-regular is actually non-regular. Okay, I can easily give you. For example, consider the language L, that is a power m, b power n, c power n, where m comma n greater than equal to 0. Okay, and consider this language M, that is a power n, b power n, c power m, again m comma n both are greater than equal to 0. You can easily see this is also non-regular, this is also non-regular. Both are non-regular languages. But what about their intersection? What can you say about their intersection? If I do the intersection of L comma M, where L is non-regular, M is also non-regular. If I do their intersection, I will get a power n, b power n, c power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. This is also non-regular. So this is what I'm saying, that the intersection of two non-regular languages may be non-regular. Okay, or the intersection of two non-regular languages may be regular. So finally I can say the intersection of two non-regular languages may be regular, may be non-regular. So that is the reason the statement D, this is saying intersection of two non-regular languages is always non-regular. This statement is false. The question is asking false statement. So what will be the answer? So you can see that statement A, C, D, these are false statement. Okay, A, C, D. So this is the answer. I hope you understood. Now let's move on. Let's solve this question. This question is taken from UCF, University of Central Florida. Okay, so let's solve it. This is a very interesting question. Let's see. In each case below, R1, R2 are regular languages. Okay, understand R1, R2. What are these? These are regular languages. R1, R2 are regular. And what is L1, L2? L1, L2 are non-regular CFL. Okay, L1, L2 are CFL but non-regular. Remember, every regular language is CFL. Here, L1, L2 are non-regular but CFL, and R1, R2 are regular languages. And the question is saying that fill in the three columns, okay, with Y or N, basically yes or no, indicating what kind of language L can be. The question is asking What kind of language L can be? Means can the language L be regular? Can L be CFL non-regular? Can L be non-CFL? Okay. This is what the question is asking. What the language L can be? Okay. So let's see the first one. Tell me, L1 union L2. Is it possible it can be regular? L1 comma L2 both are non-regular CFL. So if you have non-regular CFL, can their union be regular? Yes, their union can be regular. Yes or no? Okay, see, let me tell you that the first one. Let's see the first this first one. Let's see. So here you can notice that what is L1, L2? Both are non-regular CFLs. Okay, both are non-regular but CFLs. Non-regular CFL. Now you tell me, is it possible their union can be regular? Is it possible that their union can be regular? Yes, that is possible. Okay, can you give me two non-regular CFL such that their union is regular? Yes, I can easily give you. Consider this A power n, B power n. Okay, this union A power m, B power n, where m is not equal to n. Basically, you consider this language union this language. Tell me what this will become. Here you can easily notice that this is also non-regular CFL. Remember, this is non-regular CFL. This is non-regular CFL. And what about this? This is also non-regular CFL. Okay, both are non-regular CFLs. And you tell me what their union will be. Here you have A power n, B power n. Here you have A power m, B power n, where m is not equal to n. The union will be A star, B star. Okay. And what this union? This is regular. So remember, the union of two non-regular CFL that may be regular. Okay, this is what we have seen. So you can see that is the reason this yes is there. Okay, so you can see the union of two non-regular CFLs may be regular. And what about union of two non-regular CFLs? Is it possible that can be CFL but non-regular? Yes, that is also possible. Okay, let me give you another situation. So you consider, let's consider this A power n, B power n. You consider this union A power n, B power 2n. You can easily see that both these are non-regular CFL. This is non-regular CFL. Okay, and this is also non-regular CFL. Both are non-regular CFL. A power n, B power n, A power n, B power 2n. Both are non-regular CFL. What about their union? What about their union? Their union also will be non-regular CFL. Yes or no? The union of A power n, B power n, A power n, B power 2n. Okay, the union of these two will be non-regular CFL. So yes, this is also possible. You can easily see. Okay, what about this? The union of two non-regular CFL, is it possible it can be non-CFL? Is it possible it can be non-CFL? Tell me. This is never possible. Remember, here if I do L1 union L2, is it possible it can be non-CFL? It can never be non-CFL. It can never be non-CFL. What is the reason? Because remember here, L1 is also CFL. The question is saying L1 is also CFL and L2 is also CFL. L1 is CFL, L2 is CFL. What is CFL union CFL? CFLs are closed under union operation. So CFL union CFL, that is always CFL. So finally, I can say that if you have two CFL, their union can never be non-CFL. Okay. So that is the reason I can say this is not possible. Okay, understood. So this is the first row. So first row is actually already given. We don't have to do anything. Can you tell me about the second row? Tell me about the second row, R1 intersection R2. Remember, R1, R2 are regular languages. So what you can say about their intersection? Their intersection will definitely be regular. The regular intersection regular is definitely regular. Okay. Is it possible that regular intersection regular can be non-regular? Is it possible? No, this is not possible. This is also not possible. Regular intersection regular can never be non-regular. Actually, regular intersection regular is always regular. So remember, for for the row 2, the answer will be y and n. Okay. What about the row 3? L1 minus R2. Is it possible it can be regular? Okay, so let's see the row 3. The row 3 is saying L1 minus R2. L1 minus R2. Okay, so here remember what this L1, this is CFL. This is non-regular CFL. The question is saying that This is non-regular CFL. This is your L1. And what is R2? R2 is a regular. Okay. So now you tell me, what can I say about L1 minus R2? Is it possible it can be regular? Is it possible? Yes, that is possible. Okay, consider this situation where let me give you L1 equal to A power n B power n. Okay, where n is greater than equal to 0. Now you can easily see this language is non-regular CFL. Yes or no? Okay, this L1, this is non-regular but CFL. And you consider this language R2, that is a sigma star. Okay, this is regular. Now you tell me what is L1 minus L2? Can you tell me what is L1 minus R2? What is L1 minus R2? A power n, B power n is greater than equal to 0. This language is non-regular CFL. And R2, that is sigma star, that is regular. Tell me what is L1 minus R2? That will be phi. Yes or no? Okay, because L1 is subset of sigma star. Yes or no? This language is subset of sigma star. So if you find what is L1 minus R2, that will be phi, which is regular. Which is a regular. Okay, is this clear? So you can easily see that in this here I can say that non-regular CFL minus regular language, is it possible it can be regular? Yes, it can be possible. Okay, is this clear? Yes, this is possible. Okay, what about this one? L1 minus R2, is it possible it can be non-regular CFL? Yes, that is also possible. Okay, let me create. See what I can do. I can take this language A power n, B power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. You know that this language is non-regular, but this language is CFL. And you consider R2 equal to phi. Okay, you can see that this R2 is regular. Okay, now you tell me what is L1 minus R2? That will be L1. Yes or no? Any language minus phi, that will be that language itself. So you can see L1 minus phi, that will be L1. And what is this L1? This L1 is already non-regular but CFL. Okay, is this clear? Please tell me. So remember, yes, non-regular CFL, that is possible. So I can say L1 minus R2, that is possible to be non-regular CFL. What about non-CFL? Is it possible that CFL minus regular can be non-CFL? Please tell me. That is never possible. Okay, see, in the third one, let me tell you, in the third one, in the third row, we are saying that you have L1 minus R2, where L1 is non-regular but CFL. It is non-regular but it is CFL, and R2 is regular. Okay. Now you notice what I can write it. I can write it L1 intersection R2 complement. Okay, because don't forget that if you have any set S comma T, then remember what will be S minus T, that will be S intersection T complement. Okay, so you can see that here L1 intersection R2 complement. Now you tell me, what is this R2 complement? This will be regular. The regular language complement will always be regular. And this is CFL. Yes or no? This is CFL. Now you tell me, what is CFL intersection regular? CFL intersection regular, that is always CFL. Yes or no? That is always CFL. CFL intersection regular, that is always CFL. So I can say that option 3. In option 3, I can say CFL minus regular can never be non-CFL. Okay, is this clear? So this is the simple point that L1 minus R2, this can never be, can never be non-CFL. Okay, please tell me, did you understand that this can never be non-CFL? I hope you understood. So finally, I can say here the answer will be no. It is not possible. What about the next one? L1 minus L2. Remember, this symbol means minus. So this is your L1 minus L2. Let me know. CFL minus CFL. Is it possible it can be regular? Is it possible it can be CFL but non-regular? Is it possible it can be non-CFL? Tell me. Let's see the fourth row. The fourth row is talking about L1 minus L2. Remember, this symbol means L1 minus L2. Okay. Here, remember, the question is saying that L1, this is non-regular CFL. And what is L2? That is also non-regular CFL. That is also non-regular CFL. Now you tell me, what about their L1 minus L2? Is it possible it can be regular? Can you make it regular? Yes, I can make it regular. Consider this situation. Just consider that L1 equal to You take any non-regular CFL. Okay, take any non-regular CFL. Basically, you can take, for example, A power n, B power n. You can see this language is non-regular CFL. Now what you do? Now what you do? You can consider L2 equal to L1. Okay, just consider L2 equal to L1. Now you can see that both L2 comma L1 they are non-regular CFL. Okay, now you tell me what is there L1 minus L2? That will be phi. And what is phi? Phi is a regular. Okay, is this point clear? Please tell me. So very simple point. I hope you understood. So like this you can do. So another example if you want, I can give you no problem. Okay, for example, consider A power n, B power n. Okay, this and consider L2 equal to. So this is the language A power n, B power n, and you consider another language I can give you. I think this counter example is enough, but of course you can create more counter examples if you want. Okay, so if you have this A power n, B power n, then maybe here maybe greater than equal to 0, here you can make greater than equal to 1, so that also you can do. Okay, anyway, you can easily find, if you want to find more counter examples you can easily find. Okay, so I think this counter example is also enough. So you can see that if L1 comma L2 are non-regular CFL, then you can see their minus L1 minus L2 that is possible to be regular. Yes or no? So I can say yes, this is possible to be regular. Okay. What about, is it possible that L1 minus L2 can be CFL but non-regular? Okay. Yes, that is also possible. Okay. That is also possible. What I can do, notice, just consider this situation. Let me give you L1 equal to A power n, B power n. Okay. Now, this language you consider, this is L1, and you consider L2 equal to A power m, B power n. A power m, B power n, where m is not equal to n. Okay, now you consider these languages. Now notice what is L1? This is also non-regular CFL. And what is this L2? This is also non-regular CFL. You tell me what is L1 minus L2? Both L1 comma L2 are non-regular CFL. You tell me what is L1 minus L2? That will be same as L1. Yes or no? Okay, because they are disjoint. L1, L2, they are disjoint. There is nothing common. This language have nothing common. So when they are disjoint, when two set are disjoint, then remember L1 minus L2 will be L1. And what is this L1? This is a non-regular CFL. Okay, so you can see that non-regular CFL, yes, that is also possible. Okay, what about this non-CFL? Is it possible that CFL minus CFL can be non-CFL? Yes, that is also possible. Okay, what I can do, notice, I can easily give you CFL minus CFL is a non-CFL. I can give you that. Okay, so let me give you, consider L1 equal to CFL minus CFL is equal to non-CFL. This type of example I want to give you. Okay, so what you can do, you can consider L1 equal to some language like I want to create L1 minus L2 equal to non-CFL. Remember, we cannot take L1 equal to sigma star because L1 is non-regular CFL, L2 is non-regular CFL. We need to make sure that non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL, that is non-CFL. This type of situation I want. I want non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL equal to non-CFL. This type of condition I want. Okay, easily you can do this. Okay, see, consider this example. I am taking a non-regular CFL like A power n, B power n, C power m, where m comma n are greater than equal to 0. Consider this language. You can easily see this is non-regular CFL. You cannot take L1 equal to sigma star. Okay, we need to make sure that L1 comma L2 are both non-regular CFL, because in the question it is saying that both are non-regular CFL. L1 comma L2 are non-regular CFL. Okay, so we need to make sure that basically this type of example I want to find where non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL is becoming non-CFL. This type of situation I want. Okay, I hope you understood. So here you can easily see this language L1 I can take, A power n, B power n, C power m. You can easily see this is CFL, yes or no? Because A power n, B power n. So this language is CFL, but this language is non-regular. And L2 I can take like this. L2 I can take, that is A power m, B power n, C power p, where n is not equal to p. Okay, consider this. Now you can easily see what will be L1 minus L2. Tell me, what will be L1 minus L2? From this language, if I remove this language, one thing you notice here, A power m, B power n, C power p, where n is not equal to p. This is also not regular CFL. Okay, so both L1 comma L2 are non-regular CFL. Now you tell me what will be L1 minus L2? You can easily see from these strings, if I remove these strings, what I will get? Just tell me a simple point. From these strings, if I remove these strings, L1 minus L2, so I will get A power n, B power n, C power n, n is greater than equal to 0. Is this clear? So these type of strings I am going to get. I hope you understood. Remember, from these strings I want to remove these strings. Means from this L1 I want to remove all the strings of L2. So you can easily see that the L1 minus L2, that will be A power n, B power n, C power n. Okay, because I am already removing when n is not equal to p. Okay, when number of b is not equal to number of c, then those strings I am removing. So which strings will be remaining? The remaining strings will be where number of b is equal to number of c. Already number of a equal to number of b. So finally I will get number of a equal to number of b equal to number of c. I hope you understood. Just work it out. If you did not understand, okay, just see which strings belong to L1, which strings belong to L2, and then from L1 you remove the strings of L2. You can easily see that only these strings will be remaining: A power n, B power n, C power n. Now you can easily see this language is not CFL. Yes or no? A power n, B power n, C power n. This is famous example of non-CFL. So this is what I'm saying, that non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL, that can be non-CFL. Okay, so remember, this is also possible. So when you have non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL, it may be regular, it may be CFL but non-regular, it may be non-CFL. All these possibilities are there. Okay, what about the last one? The fourth one, R1 minus R2, and L is subset of R1 minus R2. So what about this one? See, let's see the fourth one. We are saying that L is subset of R1 minus R2. You know that R1 minus R2 will be regular. Okay, regular minus regular, that will always be regular. So basically we are saying that L is subset of regular. We are saying L is subset of regular. Now you tell me, if L is subset of regular, is it possible L can be regular? Is it possible L can be non-regular? Yes, both are possible. Okay, see, L is a subset of regular, because you can see L is subset of here. Notice here, L is subset of R1 minus R2. R1 minus R2 will be regular, and L is subset of regular language. So here, what possibilities are there? You can see what I can do. I can take this I can take sigma star. Yes or no? Okay, notice one thing. This I can take sigma star. What you do, you take it as sigma star. Take sigma star. Basically what you can do here in this R1 R2, you can do like this, that maybe you can consider R1 equal to sigma star, and maybe you can consider R2 equal to phi. So R1 minus R2 will be sigma star. Okay, yes or no? So this is what you take. Now you can easily see, if I consider the subset of sigma star, L is subset of sigma star. Now this L can be anything. Okay, this L can be regular, this L can be regular. I can take L equal to maybe A star. Okay, you can easily see, or maybe I can take L equal to phi. So you can see this will be regular, this will be regular. Or what I can do, I can take L equal to A power n, B power n. This will be CFL but not regular. Okay, I can take this L, this is also subset of sigma star. Every language is subset of sigma star. So here you can see this is non-regular but CFL. Okay, what I can do, I can take, maybe I can take L equal to A power n, B power n, C power n. Now this will be non-CFL. Okay, this will be non-CFL. So I hope you understood that here all these are possible. Okay, please tell me, because subset of regular language may or may not be regular. The subset of regular language can be anything. Okay, because you can take sigma star. So subset of sigma star, every language is subset of sigma star. Every decidable language is subset of sigma star. Every CFL is subset of sigma star. Every not RE language is subset of sigma star. Every RE language is subset of sigma star. Each and every language is subset of sigma star. So for this question, this is the final answer. Please tell me, did you understand this question? This is a very interesting question, and I hope you found this question very interesting. And from this question, you can learn a lot of things. Okay, now let's move on. Let's solve this question. This question is taken from New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT. So tell me the answer for this question. If L1, L2 are non-context free languages, both are non-context free, then can you guarantee that L1 intersection L2 will be non-context free? Can you guarantee that intersection will be context free? So let me know. The question is saying L1, L2 both are non-context free. Okay. So in the question, L1, L2 both are non-CFL. Both are non-CFL. So what you can say about L1 intersection L2? Let me know. L1 intersection L2. Is it possible to be CFL? Is it possible to be CFL? Yes, this is possible to be CFL. Okay. Can you give me this type of situation? Can you give me this type of situation? Remember, if L1, L2 are non-CFL, is it possible to be CFL L1 intersection L2? Yes, that is possible to be CFL. I can give you example. Consider language L1. I have to give you non-CFL language. Okay. So what you can do? You can consider a power n, or maybe a power prime. Okay. You can consider a power prime. So you can easily see this language is what? This language is non-CFL. You can take a power prime. This language is non-CFL. And what about L2? You can take a power composite. You can take a power composite. This is also non-CFL. Both are non-CFL. A power prime is non-CFL. A power composite is non-CFL. What about their intersection? Tell me. L1 intersection L2. What about their intersection? Nothing common. Phi, and phi is CFL. So you can see if L1, L2 are non-CFL, then their intersection may be CFL. It is possible to be CFL. Yes or no? Intersection is possible to be CFL. Now, is it possible that intersection is non-CFL? Is it possible that intersection is possible to be non-CFL? Tell me. The intersection of two non-CFL, L1, L2 are non-CFL. Their intersection, is it possible that that can be non-CFL? Yes, that is also possible. Yes, that is also possible. Can you give me example? Can you give me counter example where the intersection of two non-CFL is non-CFL? Yes, of course. See, notice what I can do. Consider this language L1, that is a power n, b power n, c power n. Okay, this language is what? N greater than equal to 0. This language is non-CFL. Now what you do? You take L1 equal to L2. You take L2 equal to L1. Okay, both you take same. Now you can easily see that both are non-CFLs. And what about their intersection? Their intersection will be same as L1, which is non-CFL. Okay, is this clear? So very easily you can see that the intersection of two non-CFL may be non-CFL. Also the intersection of two non-CFL may be CFL. Okay, is this clear? So finally I can say the idea is, if you have non-CFL intersection non-CFL, non-CFL intersection non-CFL, then remember the result may or may not be CFL. Okay, intersection of two non-CFL may or may not be CFL. May or may not be CFL. May or may not be non-CFL. It may be CFL, it may be non-CFL. I hope you understood. Okay, so finally I can say that these are non-CFLs. Then can I say their intersection must be non-CFL? No. Can I say their intersection must be CFL? No. Okay, the answer will be that their intersection can be CFL, and also it can be non-CFL. So option C is correct. Okay, can I say it must be non-regular? This is also no, because you can see that here in this situation, consider here, okay, a power prime, a power composite, these are non-CFL. Their intersection is actually regular. Yes or no? If you focus here, this intersection is actually regular. So finally, I can say that option D is also wrong. So for this question, answer will be option C. L1 intersection L2 can be CFL, or and it can be non-CFL. Okay, that is correct. Now let's move on. Let's solve this question. If a language A is recognized by NFA and language B has a regular expression, then tell me what you can say. The question is saying language A is recognized by NFA. So what can you say about language A? If a language is recognized by some NFA, then this language A is what? This language A is regular language. Yes or no? Because you know that NFAs will recognize regular languages. If any language is recognized by some NFA, then that is a regular language. What about this language B? Language B has regular expression. So what you can say about language B? If language B has regular expression, then that is also regular language. Okay. So you can see both are regular languages. Now what you can say? Regular dot regular must be non-regular. This statement is false because you know that regular dot regular, remember regular dot regular, concatenation of two regular languages is always regular. Okay, that you already know. So statement A is false. What about statement B? A union B is not recognized by DFA. This is also false because remember A union B, A union B, regular union regular, that is regular. And you can recognize regular languages using DFA. For every regular language, there is DFA. So option B is also wrong. Okay, what about option C? A intersection B must be non-context free language. This statement is also false because regular intersection regular is regular. Regular languages are closed under concatenation union intersection. Okay, so regular intersection regular is regular, and for every regular language there is PDA. Every regular language is CFL, and remember for every CFL there is PDA. So very easily you can see that I can say this is saying option C is saying that intersection A intersection B must be non-CFL. No, that is wrong. Okay. What about option D? A intersection B must be recognized by PDA. Yes, that is correct. Because remember, regular intersection regular is regular. Every regular is CFL. Every CFL has PDA. Every CFL has some PDA. Okay, so you can see the answer will be option D. Okay, I hope you understood. Now let's move on. Let's solve this question. If an infinite number of strings is removed from a context-free language, then the resulting language will satisfy which property? Question is saying that from a context-free language, you are removing infinite number of strings. You have a context-free language, and from that you are removing infinite number of strings. Then the resulting language will satisfy which property? Okay, let's see the options. Option is saying B must be regular. Tell me, from a CFL, if you remove infinite number of strings, then can I say result will always be regular? Can I say? See, it is given to you that language A is CFL. Okay, language A is CFL. This is given to you. And what is B? B is from this A, you are removing infinite number of strings. Infinitely many strings from A. Okay, so from here, strings from A of A. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Notice one thing. So from this A, because A is context free language, and we are saying that infinite number of strings are removed from this A, then what you can say about B? So can I guarantee that B will be regular? No, I cannot guarantee. Okay, consider this situation. Let me give you the language A equal to A power n B power n, where n is greater than equal to 0. You consider this language. Now you tell me if this is CFL. You can easily see this is a context free language. Now from this I am removing infinitely many strings. Please notice from this A, what I'm doing, okay, from this A, let me do this, that this A minus A power n B power n, where n greater than equal to 0. Okay, from this I am removing infinitely many strings. Okay, let me remove A power 2n B power 2n. Okay, where n is greater than equal to 0. Basically I am removing all the A power even B power even. So tell me what I will get. Can you tell me what the resulting string? So remember infinite number of strings I am removing. Yes or no? Yes or no? I am removing infinitely many strings. These are infinitely many strings of these are infinitely many strings of A. Okay, so from this language A I am removing infinitely many strings of A. Then what the result? The result will be like this: A power n B power n, where n is odd. Yes or no? And you can notice this language is also non-regular. Okay, is this clear? This language is also non-regular. You have a power n, b power n, where n is odd. So this language is also non-regular. Please tell me, did you understand? Let me know. Okay, so very easily you can see that. Can I guarantee that it will be regular? This statement is false. Okay, can I guarantee it will be non-regular? Can you guarantee it will be non-regular? This statement is also false, because remember, okay, just take this situation. A, this language is a power n, b power n is greater than equal to 0. You can easily see this language is CFL. Now what you do? You remove from this a, you remove a. Okay, from this a you remove a. What you will get? You will get 5. From a I am removing all the strings of a. I will get 5, which is regular. Okay, so remember, from a CFL, if I remove infinitely many strings of this language, then remember the result may be regular, the result may not be regular. Okay, result may be regular, result may not be regular. Okay, so you can see. What about this? B must be non-context free language. B must be non-context free language. This statement is also false. Okay, you can easily see, for example, here this language is CFL, and from this language I am removing infinitely many strings. From this language I am removing these infinitely many strings. I am removing a power even, b power even. Then you can easily see the result is still CFL. Yes or no? The result is still CFL. So this is saying B must be non-CFL. This statement is also false. The answer will be option D. Okay, is this clear? So very simple point. I hope you understood. So remember, this for this B, what I can say, the correct answer will be that from any context free language, if you remove infinitely many strings, then remember this B can be anything. Okay, this B may be regular, may be CFL, non CFL. Remember, it may be CFL. This language B, this may be CFL, this may be non CFL, this may be CFL, this may be non CFL, this may be regular, this may be non regular. Basically, anything is possible. I hope you understood. Okay, so for B, we cannot say anything. Okay, for B. So the answer will be none of the above. This will be the final answer. Let's move on now. Let's solve this question. The class of languages recognized by NFA. Tell me, the class of languages recognized by NFA is what is that class? Which class of languages is recognized by NFA? The class of languages recognized by NFA, these are set of regular languages. These are set of all regular languages, because this is the class of languages recognized by NFAs. Okay, now you tell me the set of all regular languages, what you can say? They are closed under complementation. This is correct. Regular complement is regular. Okay, that you already know, that for any regular language, if I do the complement, it will always be regular. So you can see they are, it is closed under complementation. It is not closed under intersection. That is wrong. It contains every possible language. That is wrong. Okay, because remember, set of regular languages will only contain regular languages. Yes or no? Set of all regular languages, they will only contain regular languages. They do not contain all the languages. They do not contain non-regular languages. So you can see it contains every possible language. That is wrong. It contains every context-free language. That is also wrong. Okay, yes or no? It includes every context-free language. That is also wrong. So finally, for this question, the answer will be option A. Let's solve this question. The language A is given to you, that is I power 1 power I 0 power j, where I comma j both are greater than equal to 0. Then this will satisfy which of the following properties? You can easily see what the language A, this is 1 power I 0 power j, where I is greater than equal to 0, j is greater than equal to 0. Tell me, is there any relationship between I comma j? I comma j, are they related? Is there any comparison between I comma j? There is no comparison. I can be any value greater than equal to 0, j can be any value greater than equal to 0. So can I say that language A, that is basically 1 star 0 star? Yes or no? Any number of ones followed by any number of zeros, and this is regular, and this language is regular, but this is infinite. This is not finite. Yes or no? So you can see language A, if you notice, that is basically 1 star 0 star. This language is regular but infinite. Okay, you can see this is regular but this is infinite. So you can see A is finite, that is wrong. Okay, A is regular, that is correct. A is non-regular, that is wrong. A is non-CFL, that is wrong, because every regular language is a CFL also. Okay, so for this question the answer will be option B. Tell me the answer for this question. Suppose A, B, C, these are context free languages, then which of the following must be true? Let me know. A, B, C, these are CFLs. Okay, this A, B, C, all of them are CFLs. Now, what can you say? The question is saying, the first option is saying that A complement B star union C must be CFL. Okay, notice one thing. What option A is saying? Option A is saying that A complement and inside you have B star union C. So can I guarantee this will be CFL? No, you cannot guarantee. Remember, if these are CFL, then you know that CFLs are closed under clean star. So definitely B star will be CFL. Okay, there is no doubt. This B star will be CFL because B is CFL, so B star will be CFL. There is no doubt. Okay, and you can notice B star union C, that also will be CFL because CFL union CFL is CFL. Okay, CFLs are closed under union operation. So definitely there is a guarantee that this will be CFL. Okay, this will be CFL. But what about A complement? You know that CFL complement may or may not be CFL. CFL complement may be CFL or may not be CFL. Yes or no? So remember, this A complement can be anything. This A complement may be CFL, may not be CFL. This may or may not be CFL. Okay, do you agree? This A complement, this may or may not be CFL. So finally, what you can say about this? What you can say about this option A? This A complement may or may not be CFL. This part is CFL. So for this option A, I can say that we cannot say anything. This may or may not be CFL. This entire thing may be CFL or may not be CFL. Okay, yes or no? This may be CFL or this may be non-CFL. May or may not be CFL. I hope you understood. So remember, for this expression, I can say it must be CFL, that is wrong. It must be non-CFL, that is wrong. Okay, ultimately, I can say this A complement B star union C. This may or may not be CFL. This may be CFL or maybe non-CFL or maybe non-CFL. Okay, so finally, I can say these are wrong. What about option C? Option C is saying that A complement A complement B union C. This is same as C union B A complement. This is wrong. Okay, why this is wrong? What are the reason this is wrong? Because complement is not commutative. See, concatenation is not commutative. Do you agree? See, what is option C? Option C is saying that A complement B union C. Okay, A complement B union C is equal to C union B A complement. So actually, if you notice, you already know that concatenation is not commutative. For example, if you have two languages L1, L2, can I say L1 dot L2 will be same as L2 dot L1? Can you say this? L1 dot L2 will be equal to L2 dot L1. That is wrong. Okay, yes or no? Okay, so you know that this concatenation is not commutative. Very simple point. Concatenation is not commutative. Is not commutative. Okay, you can easily see. Consider this language L1. Let's assume language L1 has only one string, that is A. And consider this language L2. This has only one string, that is B. Now tell me what will be L1, L2. Now tell me what will be L1, L2 and what will be L2, L1. You can see L1, L2 will be AB and you can see L2, L1 will be BA. Okay, so this is AB and L2, L1, that is BA. So you can see that concatenation is not commutative. Okay, so option C, that is also wrong. That is also false. Okay, so I can say that this statement, this is also false. What about option D? A star B union C. Can I guarantee it must be CFL? Yes, this is correct. Option D is correct. What are the reason? What are the reason? Let me know. Because option D, look at option D. This is saying A, A star B union C. A star B union C. Now you can notice that already the question is saying A is CFL. So if A is CFL, then definitely A star is CFL. Because CFLs are closed under clean star operation. So if a language is CFL, then its star, its clean star also will be CFL. You know that B comma C are CFL. So their union also will be CFL. B union C, that also will be CFL. Okay, yes or no? Now you can easily notice that this is CFL and this whole thing is CFL. What about CFL dot CFL? What about the concatenation of two CFL? That always will be CFL. Okay, CFLs are closed under concatenation operation. So you can easily see that this will be CFL. So I can say answer will be option D. For this question, option D is the answer. Okay, understood? Let's solve this question. If a language is recognized by PDA, then what you can say about this language? See, a language L is recognized by a PDA. So definitely I can say this is a CFL language. Yes or no? This L is a CFL. Remember, this can be regular also. Every regular language is CFL. Every regular language is recognized by some PDA. For every regular language, there is PDA because every regular language is CFL, and for every CFL, there is PDA. Every finite language is regular. Every regular language is CFL. For every CFL, there is PDA. Okay, so remember the question is saying that L is CFL. So L may be regular, but it is not necessary. It is necessary that L is CFL. So you can see the question is asking, then what is true? Is it necessary that it must have a regular expression? Okay, that is not correct. May or may not. Okay, because here, from here, remember, from here I can say, see, L is CFL. L is CFL, but this may or may not be regular. From here I can say that L may or may not be regular. May or may not be regular. So you can see, you cannot say that it will definitely be regular. You cannot say it will definitely be finite. You cannot say it will definitely be infinite. You cannot say yes or no, because it is a CFL. So remember, every finite language is also CFL. So here actually you can see that L may or may not be finite. L may be finite, L may be not non-finite, L may or may not be finite. Okay, so you can see, what about option D? L can be finite and also L can be infinite. Yes, that is correct. Okay, so answer will be option D for this question. L can be finite or L can be infinite. Let's solve this question. If A comma B are languages with A is non-regular and B is superset of A, then which statement is correct? The question is saying that A is non-regular language. Okay, and B is superset of this is given to us that this language A, this is non-regular. Okay, and the question is saying that this B is a superset of A. B is superset of A. So tell me, can you guarantee that superset of non-regular language will be regular? Can you guarantee this? We cannot guarantee this. We cannot guarantee this. We cannot guarantee this. We cannot guarantee this. For this question, the answer will be option E. Actually, we cannot guarantee anything. Okay, notice I can give you counter example. See, the question is saying that L is A is non-regular and B is a superset of A. So maybe you can consider this situation. You can consider case one. In the case one, maybe A is any non-regular language you take. Okay, for example, you can take A power n, B power n. So you can easily see this language is a non-regular. Okay, now what you can do? You can consider B equal to sigma star. B equal to sigma star. Do you agree? Okay, so in this case, because of this case, I can say that B may be regular. Do you agree that B may be regular? Okay, because of this case, I can say B may be regular. If B may be regular, if B may be regular, so option B is gone because B may be regular. And this option B is saying B must be non-regular, so option B is gone. Remember, B may be regular. Okay, here you can notice B is regular also. And this is CFL also. Every regular language is CFL. So you can see option D is also gone because option D is saying that B must be non-context free. That is also gone. Okay. What about case 2? What about case 2? In the case 2, remember A is non-regular. So you can consider this A. And what you can do, you can consider B equal to A. You can consider B equal to A because B is superset of A. You can consider B equal to A. If you consider B equal to A, then easily you can see that this is a non-CFL. Sorry, this is non-regular. This is non-regular. So remember, that is the reason I can say B must be regular. This option is gone. And what about option C? Option C is also gone. Okay, very easily you can eliminate the option C also. How to eliminate? See, you can consider this case number 3. I'm giving you the language A. Remember, A is non-regular language. So let me consider A power n, B power n. Okay, n is greater than equal to 0. Consider this language. You can easily see this is non-regular. Okay, now I can give you its superset. The question is saying, yes, what I can do actually very easily, I can give you A power n, B power n, C power n. Okay, directly I can give you A power n, B power n, C power n. Now you can easily see this is non-regular, A is non-regular. Now what you can do, you can take B equal to A. Okay, and what is this B? This is non-CFL also. Okay, so you can easily see that language can be non-CFL. So option C is saying that B must be CFL. This is also false. So finally the answer will be option E. Okay, so very easily you can do this question. I hope you understood. Let's solve this question. If A is non-context free language and B is context free language, then which of the following statement is true? A is not CFL and B is CFL. Then can you guarantee that A will be non-regular? Yes, see, A is non-CFL. Okay, notice one thing that here the question is saying that A is not CFL. Every non-CFL language is non-regular. Yes or no? If a language is not CFL, then definitely it is non-regular. So definitely I can say that A must be non-regular. This statement is correct. Okay. And option B is saying B must be non-regular. See, B is context free. So B may or may not be regular. B may be regular, B may be non-regular. Yes or no? Every regular language is a CFL. So remember, B may be regular or may be non-regular. B may be regular, B may be non-regular. So I can say option B is wrong. Okay. Next, this is saying B complement must be infinite. That is also wrong because maybe B is sigma star. Okay, yes or no? Maybe B is sigma star. The question is saying that B is a CFL. Okay, maybe you can take B equal to sigma star. You know that sigma star is this is CFL. Okay, now if you consider its B complement, then that will be what? That will be phi. So option, which option is eliminated? You can see option C eliminated. Option C is eliminated. Okay. What about the next option? A union B must be not context free. This option is also eliminated because remember the question is saying, notice one thing. Question is saying that A is a non-CFL. Okay. And B is a CFL. Now what I can do? I can consider B equal to sigma star because sigma star is CFL. You already know. B equal to sigma star, that is CFL. Now what will be A union B? That will be sigma star. Sigma star union anything, that will be sigma star. Okay, and what is sigma star? This is CFL. So you can see that option D is also gone. Okay, now what about the next? All of the above, that is also wrong. None of the above, that is also wrong. So the final answer will be option A. Okay, very simple question. I hope you understood. Let's solve this question. Language L1, L2 are two languages and the XOR of two languages is given to you. The definition of XOR operation is given to you. This XOR operation definition, if you notice, this is basically your symmetric difference. Okay. This XOR operation, the definition, if you notice, this is nothing but your symmetric difference. Symmetric difference delta. Okay. Because you can see the definition. What is L1? L1 XOR L2? That is L1 minus L2 union L2 minus L1. This is the definition of symmetric difference. Now the question is, if L1, L2 are both CFL, then can you guarantee that the XOR of CFLs will be CFL? Is this statement correct? If L1, L2 are both CFL, then their XOR must be CFL, must be CFL. Is this statement correct? Let me tell you, this statement is not correct. Okay, you can easily prove using counter example. First of all, let me tell you, the definition is given to you. The question is saying that XOR definition is given to you. This is saying that this is L1 minus L2 union L2 minus L1. Okay, so this is the definition of XOR. Actually, this is nothing but symmetric difference. Here, if this is your language L1 and if this is your language L2, then basically what is this symmetric difference? You can see this area is L1 minus L2. This area, this is L1 minus L2 area. And you can see this area, yellow area, this is L2 minus L1 area. So what will be this XOR? This L2 XOR L1 XOR L2. This is nothing but your symmetric difference. Okay. And that is nothing but L1 minus L2 union L2 minus L1. Okay. So this is the definition that is given to you. Now the question is saying that if L1 L2 are both context free, then their XOR must be context free. Then their XOR must be context free. This statement is actually false. Okay. Can you give me example where the XOR of two context free languages is not context free? Can anyone suggest any such example? Yes, I can suggest. Consider this language L1. You can consider this as sigma star. Okay. Consider this language as a sigma star. Okay. And you consider this language L2 equal to A power n, B power n, C power n complement. Okay. So now you tell me this language L1, definitely this is CFL. Sigma star is CFL. Yes or no? Sigma star is regular. Every regular language is CFL. So sigma star is CFL. And what about this A power n, B power n, C power n complement? You know that complement of A power n, B power n, C power n, that is CFL. Okay. So you can see this is also CFL. Now you tell me what will be L1 minus L2? Can anyone tell me? Sigma star, what will be L1 minus L2? Sigma star minus A power n, B power n, C power n complement. That will be A power n, B power n, C power n. Okay, this will be your L1 minus L2. What will be L2 minus L1? Tell me. What will be L2 minus L1? You can see from here, if I remove sigma star, then it will be phi, because sigma star is a superset of this. Yes or no? So this will be phi. Now you tell me what will be their union? What will be L1 XOR L2? L1 XOR L2. That will be union of these two. A power n, B power n, C power n. Okay, which is nothing but this language. If you look at this language, this is a non-CFL. Okay, is this clear? So remember, finally I can say this statement is wrong. If L1, L2 are context free, then their XOR will be context free. This statement is wrong. Okay, is this clear? So the result, the correct idea is if L1, L2 are CFL, then remember CFL XOR CFL. If you do CFL XOR CFL, the result may or may not be CFL. Okay, the result may be CFL or may not be CFL. The result may or may not be CFL. Okay, is this clear? So very easily you can see that this statement is a false. Okay, I hope you understood. So this is the question from this Illinois University. Okay, that's it. In this session, we have done a lot of practice of closure properties. I hope you understood each and every question. In the subsequent lectures, basically in the upcoming lectures, we will do more practice. We will solve all the gate PYQs of closure properties. Also, we will do a lot of more standard practice from the standard resources. I will take questions and we will do complete analysis of each question. But tell me, in this session, in this particular session, each and every question, did you understand? For every question, we have done the complete analysis. Please tell me each and every point, every question, every part of explanation, did you understand? Let me know. Please share your feedback in the comments. Okay, thank you everyone. One student is asking doubt here, L1 minus L2 about this case. This case actually we have already seen, but a student is asking doubt how L1 minus L2 was becoming non-CFL. Okay, so if you remember, to prove that this possibility is there, means non-regular CFL minus non-regular CFL that can be non-CFL. To prove this, what I did, I took this L1 I took. Here you can see A power n, B power n, C power m. Okay, so here you can easily see this is non-regular CFL. This is non-regular, but this is CFL. And what this L2? This is also non-regular CFL. So this L2 we took non-regular CFL. Okay, so our L1 was this A power n, B power n, and our L2 was A power p, B power q, C power r, where q is not equal to r. Okay, so this is the L2 we have taken. Now let's see what will be L1 minus L2. Okay, now you find what will be L1 minus L2. So let me actually explain this L1. If you see, I can write it in two parts. Okay, look at this L1. This is A power n, B power n, C power m. Here, number of A equal to number of B, but number of C can be anything. So I can say that in this L1, I can make two parts. Okay, these are the two parts. You can see the part one where A power n, B power n, C power m, where m is equal to n, or A power n, B power n, C power m, where m is not equal to n. Basically, this L1 I can write in two parts. Okay, this part, this part. Do you agree? So this language L1, this is union of these two parts. Okay, in this language L1, we have this type of strings, also we have this type of strings. And this is our language L2, that is A power p, B power q, C power r, where q is not equal to r, means number of B is not equal to number of C. Now if you notice one thing here, these strings, they all belong to L2. Okay, because look at these strings are A power n, B power n, C power m, where m is not equal to n. If you look at this, all these strings, they belong to L2. Okay, so let me call it, for example, let me call it B. Now you can easily see this B is actually subset of L2. Okay, so all these strings actually they belong to L2. Now if I ask you what is L1 minus L2, then what that will be? L1 minus L2 means those strings which belong to L1 but not belong to L2. Okay, remember, L1 minus L2 means what it means? It means, let's see the definition of L1 minus L2. This means those strings which belong to L1, okay, but they do not belong to L2. Means those strings of L1 which are not in L2. So if you find what is L1 minus L2, what you will get? You will get only these strings, because these strings are in L1 but they are not in L2. So you can see finally A power n, B power n, C power n greater than equal to 0. This is what you will get. This will be your L1 minus L2, and you can easily see this is a non-CFL. So that is the reason you can see in this question. Okay, in this UCF question, you can see that L1 minus L2, that is possible to be non-CFL. Okay, so I hope you understood. Okay, thank you everyone. Please share your feedback in the comments.